Danny Flexen here for SecondsOut. Delighted to be joined by the WBO cruiserweight champion of the world, Lawrence Okolie, in his new home, or home from home, in Leighton. Much closer to home for you.
So much closer. That's amazing. Take a quick drive, get here. I could probably jog it, to be fair, but I'm going to drive it. But yeah, it's good. I like it.
What was the reason, I know Shane will tell us later, but what was the reason for moving from the University of Kent?
I mean, it's really all Shane. Wherever Shane's going, I'm going. I'm just happy that he decided not to go Scotland or something like that. So it happened to be close to mine, so it's just all good.
Now, the rumour is you're going to be making your mandatory defence next against Radomir Prasovic on the AJ card. How excited are you? I know you wanted to be on that show.
Oh yeah, it's gonna obviously, as long as that fight happens. It hasn't been 100% confirmed, but I'm building towards that day anyway. But once that's confirmed, then yeah, I can get excited. But as of right now, I'm just training, and unfortunately, I wanted to go for unification straight away, but they said that obviously where I won a vacant belt, I have to defend it against my mandatory. So hopefully I'm able to win that well on a big show, and then we can now start looking towards unifications and stuff like that.
Is there a difficulty in, not so much motivation, but you've had a massive high just winning a world title, your ambitions were to unify straight away. Now you've got to accommodate a mandatory. It's not the most high profile opponent either.
Yeah, but hopefully it's a high profile card, and also the reality is, one thing that I know is that in boxing you have to actually go and make it happen. So if I want the unifications and stuff like that, I have to win this fight, and I'm not owed it. Just because I believe I'm better than this guy doesn't mean I'm owed the victory. I have to actually go out, do the training now, and then go and do it on the day. So I'm going to be extremely motivated. I'm already training, but obviously now dieting and all that annoying stuff. But we'll get it done and then defend the belt.
What does Prasovic bring to the table? What are his strengths and weaknesses?
If it's him, I mean, from what I've seen of him, he's a big guy. Anyone this weight can punch hard. He's got good combination punches. He's quite fluid and then he's confident in the ring. However, I do see things I should be able to exploit. So ultimately, at this level, anyone that's got to be undefeated and mandatory is going to be good, but I'll be able to deal with it.
Now, we know that Marius breidis is moving up to heavyweight now.
Is he actually though? Is he actually? Because I don't know.
Apparently, he said he is. But that was your kind of main target for unification, biggest name in the division apart from yourself. Would you be disappointed if he moves up before that fight happens?
100% I would be disappointed, because I've been looking at the likes of him and Usyk and the top tier guys as I was coming up. Now obviously amongst that list, I would like to kind of prove myself even more so. And he's obviously, like I said, ranked number one, you'd say. Although I've got a belt, he's the most accomplished at the weight right now. So it'd be good to kind of get that under my belt. But ultimately, he has to do what's best for him. I do think it is a silly time to go up to heavyweight. Right now you've got all the belts are clogged up. There's AJ versus Usyk, then there's Wilder Fury, then there's them guys boxing each other, then there's Joyce, and then so there's maybe 6 or 7 guys that are ahead of him in the queue for a world title shot, and then it's who do you box at heavyweight for a big fight when you could just have a unit? But anyway, that's their decision, so I just have to focus on my mandatory and see what happens.
Does him moving up, if he is moving up, does that hasten your own move up to either bridgerweight or heavyweight because there's less attractive fights perhaps at cruiser?
Not really, because ultimately, at this stage of my career, I'm still quite young, so I'm actually still interested in legacy and belts and stuff like that. So for me, moving up to heavyweight is more of a money. If I did it right now, it'd be more a money thing than a belt and legacy thing. Because once again, who do I box? I have to box a name and just for the sake of a fight, as opposed to trying to get world titles. So it doesn't hasten it. It just makes it probably a little bit longer to get undisputed, which is something that I want, because now that belt may become vacant and then 2 other guys have to box for it, and then they have to box their mandatory, so that makes it a year down the line or whatever else. So we'll just have to play it by ear.
And you put a tweet out over the weekend saying anyone in England that wants cruiserweight belts, nothing controversial, but anyone has to come and see Shane and his boys. How proud are you of Chris Billam-Smith's performance over the weekend?
I'm extremely proud of the win. The performance was good. Do you know what I mean? I'm happy, I watched it back again. Live, I was obviously, heartbeat, and I really wanted to, do you know what I mean? So good performance. I'm happy that he's got all of those belts. Do you know what I mean? And that's legacy that he's now got. Brought back to Bournemouth, and his kids will always know that he was a European, British, Commonwealth champion, and now he goes on to have big fights going forward, and I believe he's in line for a world title off the back of being British, Commonwealth, European champion. So I'm excited for him.
Obvious question then, what happens if he wins one of those world titles and then he's in your path on the way to undisputed and you've got the same trainer?
We'll have to have a discussion. About that. Maybe just relinquish it for this one fight. I win it, relinquish all. We'll see. I don't know that. Do you know what I mean? I believe, maybe at least 6 months ahead, I would say. So if I can do it quickly, then we'll see.
Good stuff. Now, you're on the, as far as we know, the AJ Usyk card, not confirmed yet. What do you make of that fight?
Which one?
AJ against Usyk.
Yeah, it's a good fight. It's a harder fight than I think a lot of people are given credit for. Because AJ is bigger than him, everyone just thinks it's just a one-sided beatdown. It's not. Usyk's a very, very talented boxer. And he's probably one of the best boxers to come out of the cruiserweight division. Southpaw, great movement, great confidence, keeps his composure from round 1 to 12, always thinking, always adjusting, and always, keeping some sort of pressure on. Obviously, AJ is an elite heavyweight, Olympic champion, so on and so forth. The list goes on. So it'll be interesting to see how he adapts to the quicker, fleet-footed style. However, I do believe that, Usyk is 6'3", AJ is 6'6". So a lot of the attributes that he had, where he was a good size cruiserweight, he's not a good size heavyweight. So he's sort of, the stuff that he does well, like probe him with the jab and all that, it's not going to work against someone who's 6'6", because it's a longer reach, and it gives AJ that half a second longer to punch with him, which I think is going to be the downfall of Usyk, because if AJ punches with him, no matter what, AJ punches so much harder than him. He's in more danger than AJ is, so I think it'll make him a little less. Him being Usyk, a little less confident with his movement patterns and setting up shots, and I think he's gonna really struggle with the athleticism and power of AJ. I believe in AJ, but I just prefer him to go in there and do what a heavyweight's supposed to do to average size cruiserweight and impose himself, not just physically, but just not just like I'm gonna go in and rough him up, but even with size, the little creeps, the little shots. But obviously they know what they're doing, so I'm sure AJ will win.
Now, you said earlier about why it's not a great time to move up to heavyweight, because there's a logjam with the belts, a lot of good heavyweights around as well. So I was thinking, who are your top 5 heavyweights right now?
Right now, probably I would say obviously AJ, Fury, Wilder, Dan, Joyce. Top 5. The 4 and 5 are difficult. Obviously, because then you've got Hergovic, who's unproven, but I like his style and his athleticism. I'd have to say Joyce, because I believe he beats a lot of the top guys. That's a good one. I don't know. I could probably give you the top 8, but I don't know about the top 5 in any order. But yeah,
you can give me the top 8 if you put them in order.
As I said, AJ, Fury, Wilder, because I still feel Wilder beats a lot of the other heavyweights. Do you know what I mean? As long as his mind's right. Then you've got Joyce, Dan, Dylan White, Hergovic, and then in and around that. Then after that, it's everyone else.
Who's number 8? Lawrence Okolie if he moves up.
Now I'd be higher than that, but yeah, go on.
Good stuff. Really appreciate your time, and hopefully that gets